So over the last few topics, we've explored the persecutor as well as the rescuer role. We've looked at the underlying unhealthy ego behaviors that support these roles. And hopefully by now you've got some ideas in terms of how you can step away from these roles and why it is so important to do so. Now, we haven't looked at the victim role yet, and we're about to do this. In this topic, I would like to look at unhealthy behaviors around the victim role, the energetic payoff we get from being a victim, and explore the concept of victim consciousness. We will also explore how to work with this victim mindset. Now, I do not want to create this impression that we are not allowed to feel those moments where we feel we are in a dark hole because of circumstances. It is totally okay to experience these moments. That's part of emotional agility. This is part of the grief cycle where you do feel maybe hopeless and helpless at times. But the important thing is not to camp down there permanently, because life does continue with or without us. Now, when I refer to the victim role, I'm talking about victim consciousness. This is where we continuously feel we are a victim to the world, even when things are comparatively going right. So let's see what the victim role is all about. This is the key role in the drama game. Subconsciously, the rescuer and the persecutor want this victim position, and this perpetuates the game. This is what keeps it going. What is the energetic payoff of the victim role that is desired by the other roles? Well, this is the only role in the game where you can get something without having to ask for it directly. We learned this from when we were children. When we asked for a sweet and we were told no by our parents, we devised new and devious ways of getting our way because asking for it directly was not going to work. Now, maybe what we did was we threw a temper on the shop floor, and this was done in front of everyone, so our parents had to capitulate. If we felt mom and dad were not paying attention to us, we devised new unhealthy ego behaviors to get that attention. Maybe sulking, the birthplace of the silent treatment. Maybe we suffered childhood trauma that prevented us from speaking up for ourselves, or we lived in an environment where children must be seen and not heard. Through these series of childhood experiences, victim consciousness was born. I experienced it myself, and I think everyone I've met experiences it. The question is, what are we going to do about it? This is really what I feel the drama game is about. A whole series of unhealthy ego behaviors designed to hide our childhood fears and to get some comfort without having to ask for it. And as you recall from the base fears, what we run from, we run towards. As we try and secure this comfort, we end up creating more separation and more fear in this drama game. So let's look deeper at some of the unhealthy ego behaviors of victim consciousness. See, victims do not like to take accountability for their emotions, feelings, or behaviors. They feel helpless and hopeless and ashamed because of their self-limiting beliefs about themselves. They might even look to the rescuer to perpetuate these negative self-beliefs. That feeling, you are good, I am bad. They do not like making decisions, problem solving, or taking accountability for the situation they find themselves in. They also play a good blame game, blaming others for how they're feeling, blaming as much as the persecutor. Well, maybe the persecutor is just an aggressive victim, in as much as the rescuer, a passive victim, who avoid their accountability for how they are feeling through their actions. The victim will blame something or someone else for when things do not work out in their lives. They can go into this passive self-pity state, having those non-stop pity parties about how awful life is and poor me, which is reflected in their hunched body language, sorrowful facial expressions, and negative language. They could alternatively play the angry victim, pretending to be powerful and using guilt and shame to get others to feel sorry for them. I will do it on my own, so leave me alone. You don't really care anyway, they may say, with this underlying motive to get emotional revenge by shaming the other person. Victims unconsciously want the rescuer to come into their life and take care of them, but with the catch. They want the rescuer to fail. Why? They do not want to stop suffering, because that would remove a lot of meaning from their lives, which also allows them to get things done for them without asking for it directly. Have you ever been around a person that makes you feel anxious because you have to second guess what they want, and if you do not guess it right, they blame you? This is the victim's game. If the rescuer fixes their problems, then what? Now the victim has to become all grown up and accountable for their lives, and their subconscious won't allow this, so they will unconsciously set the rescuer up for failure or find fault in the rescuer's help. So we can see that this victim consciousness can undermine our quality of life, the victim role really wants to have their well-being in their own hands, this would make them accountable. Their well-being and happiness lies in other people's hands, and they conveniently forget that others may not be able to carry that weight for the victim, as they have their own challenges and weights to bear. So how do we begin to work with our victim consciousness? Well, firstly, be aware of that inner victim voice from the inner voices exercises. You'll recall the poor me voice, which tells you that the situation is hopeless and you are powerless to do anything. It tells you that nothing is your fault and that you're a victim to circumstances. This voice is feeding your limiting core beliefs, as all these inner voices do from this exercise. Remember that you can change the story. However, you must be willing to hold the pen instead of letting others hold it for you. Notice the victim inner voice, question its stories, and observe the urge to become victim, and do your best to detach from the story. Now this leads to the second point, noticing your limiting beliefs that are perpetuating the victim within you, and which are being fed by these inner voices. We will be working with some of these limiting beliefs in the next topic, and as you begin to identify your limiting beliefs, you can then question these, as you did with your inner voices and thoughts, weakening them and the hold that they have over you. Thirdly, self-reflection is important around our victim consciousness. If you feel the need to become the victim, remind yourself to take accountability for your own situation. Reflect on how you can build up your energy yourself and address the challenge yourself without having someone else to do it for you. By all means, ask for help, but use this help to empower you to learn and grow so later you can do it yourself. Now, in the next topic, we will explore these limiting core beliefs that create this victim consciousness, and I'll also provide you with a practical exercise to help you reverse these limiting beliefs so that you can reclaim a lot of power and energy that is lost in this victim mindset. Now, as we finish off, I leave you with a wonderful quote by Maya Angelou. You may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them. So I will see you in the next topic, and until then, take care and stay aware.